Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we're going to be talking about Cailleach. Is that how it's pronounced?
Okay, so many different people. Like, I listened to Gaelic people say it today, and they said, like, Cailleach.
Cailleach.
No, they didn't say Cailleach. They said something very similar to Cailleach, but it wasn't Cailleach. But Cailleach is what YouTube told us the right pronunciation was when we YouTube listened to it. It said Cailleach. I have always said Cailleach. Oh, Cailleach. Cailleach or Cailleach is what the Gaelic people that I was listening to today said. So, like, I think however it comes out of your mouth naturally
I
works.
like Cailleach. I can't lie.
Cailleach and Cailleach are how it's gonna flow for me.
We are not Gaelic, so please.
Yeah, sorry. We trying, y'all. Plus, like, we were good with Cailleach until, like, I heard it said a bunch of different ways, and, like, one person was Scottish, and, like, one person was Irish, and one person was some kind of Celtic that I'm not sure, or Gaelic that I'm not sure, so I don't want to misnomer them. But either way, all three of them said it differently, so I don't know now.
So, yeah, we'll just say how it comes. We may change it up a bit.
We literally tried, okay?
Right.
So Cailleach is probably what we're going to say because that's what YouTube said. And Cailleach is what I taught myself, so it's probably going to slip out sometimes because that's what I thought it was.
So Cailleach is an earth goddess. Now she's Gaelic, right?
Yeah, she seems to be celebrated in
Ireland,
Scotland, Ireland, and the Isle of Man. Some things said Britain, but not many. But definitely Scotland, Ireland, and the Isle of Man. Which we actually have a listener in the Isle of Man.
Hey.
Thanks. Yeah. Like, I didn't know where that was.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it's somewhere over near Britain. And Corey had to teach me that when we got a listener from the Isle of Man. So thanks for teaching me. Because Corey was like, "You're dumb, Amber," and I was like, "Yeah, you married me."
Truth be told, I've never even heard of it until you just said it.
Yeah, I understand that though, because I had to. Yeah, before, like, I think our Bridget research was the first time I ever read that term.
So Cailleach is an earth goddess, but not just any earth goddess. She's the first goddess, right?
She's the first anything.
The first anything.
Anything. Everything. She came before the world, guys. She built the world.
I'm going to say I like this story a lot better than the creation before the world story in the Nordic sense, because that shit is so confusing. We gotta do a whole episode on that shit because it's so confusing.
Yeah,
but this
is gonna be
beautiful.
A fun one. Are y'all ready for all those tongue trips?
Oh my god! Don't take any fucking like
Jesus.
Yeah,
like, please do not judge us on any of these episodes. We are just trying to help you, not help you. We want to teach you what we have taught ourselves. Right. That's all. And sometimes because we are our own teachers, we don't fully understand.
Right, I don't. But this one I do understand.
Yeah, this one's the easiest Gaelic that I've ever looked into. I love the Cailleach.
And how did you say, like, it's theorized, or not theorized, it's said that she, like, came before the earth, she walked out of the waters and created land?
She was there and she walked through the waters and created land. What I read and heard about her is, like, she existed even before the water was there. Like, she was hanging out in the nothingness, and then there was water, and she said, "Hey, I'm going to go walk through that water." And that's when either stones fell out of her pockets, which I like, or...
My personal preference with the story is that she created mountains
with her hammer, right? That controls
well, there's
thunder.
3 different things. Well,
there's the hammer, and what were the other 2?
The one was just where she stepped. They sprang because they were like.
I thought you meant she had 3 tools, because I remember 2 of her tools were mentioned, but I only remember.
I do remember the hammer,
which I had forgotten about until this moment. So
they seem to like
write
hammers
it down.
over there.
Yeah, they do. But okay, so it just appeared. She created it. She accidentally created it. I like she accidentally created it. Maddie likes she created it on purpose.
I like her walking.
I kind of like it just springing up.
I just like her walking because it's like, of course a goddess would walk in.
And then it's just like in Labyrinth. Sorry. But when they're in the the eternal bog of never-ending stinks like ass, basically. The bog of eternal stink, I think is what it's called.
Oh, God.
And, like, Ludo, he calls the rocks. And, like, they have to get across the bog of eternal stink, but if it touches you, you stink forever.
Oh, my
right?
God, that sounds horrible.
It does. So Ludo, who's my favorite fucking character since childhood, love Ludo. I used to like the little ones that take their heads off. You haven't seen that whole movie, have you?
No, it sounds terrifying. I have an unusual fear of Muppets.
I forget. I'm sorry. This is like one of my favorite childhood movies.
Sounds so
and, like,
scary.
My youngest daughter, she watches it all the time regularly.
Is
even
it
now.
puppets or Muppets that take their head? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
why
I stopped talking. I realized, like,
I
as I
can
was
do
speaking.
puppets that look like people, and most of the time people are like, how the fuck
But
can you do that? That's
worst
creepy.
That's one of the worst puppets in that movie, or Muppet, or whatever you want to call it. She's a little old lady, and she's got the thing on her back, and she looks like a people, and she's the worst.
Like, I can deal with
She's
people. I call them,
the
difference for me, Muppets are the ones that are like creatures. What are they?
Yeah,
like,
Ludo's like a creature. He's like if an orangutan and a bear were a creature, that's Ludo. But he's like a cuddly teddy bear. He's so sweet. I love Ludo. But anyway, Ludo calls the rocks, and he's like, oh, and the rocks, like, they lift up out of the bog of eternal stench, and eventually the whole party can walk across the bog because he's called the rocks. And, like, nobody understood what it meant to say, Ludo called the rocks, but then when he did it, they were like, oh, fuck yeah, and then they were like,
really did.
Yeah, and then they, like, would be like, Ludo, call the rocks, and then he called big-ass rocks and knocked shit down. It was great. Ludo's the best. Anyway, sorry. You said that, and I just pictured Ludo calling the rocks up and saving them from the bog of eternal stench. Even though, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting myself in the feels.
In my head, as I'm thinking about Cailleach and, like, her as a big woman, for some reason, I'm seeing this big, gorgeous, beautiful woman, like the 1950s movie. What is it called?
Attack of the 50-Foot Woman?
Maybe.
Fuck yeah, that is actually exactly how I pictured it when they talked about her forming. See, like, so I like the theory that she formed everything accidentally, right? So she accidentally dropped Earth out of her pocket.
It's so funny.
And then she was all like, I'm going to relax, I'm going to chill. And she laid in place for too long, and her big, ginormous ass made, like, all these great, amazing things for the world in the best way possible. I say ginormous ass just because she a giant. She fucking, like, not talking ice giants. Like, ice giants ain't got nothing on the Cailleach.
For some reason.
What do you think are bigger? I'm sorry.
The Cailleach, I think so. For some reason, I think the way you're saying it is like some weird sex fantasy for some man out there. Like, there's this
that is
big
actually what you talk about every time.
Oh my God,
is it the 50-foot
woman?
Yes. Yes, because you're talking about Lana Del Rey.
I'm like, that's a sex fantasy. That's just like
you say that, and I hear the awful comment of throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Oh my God, that's horrible. But seriously, the way you say it, how she sits down and her big butt accidentally. Yeah. It's like,
yeah. See,
you know what I mean?
I'm just gonna rest in this little cavity made by your nipples, baby.
Right, exactly.
This boulder here.
God.
It made a dimple in her ass cheek. You can drink the morning dew out of it.
Oh my God, that's so funny, dude. Because, well, you say that, but, like, I'm picturing her walking around, and she's this 50-foot woman, and she's got, like, this lacy thing, but it's wet because she just came out of the water.
I do love that, but I said that, and then I was thinking about, I want a dude who's like, I want to drink morning dew out of your ass cheek dimples. Like, I want that in a man. You know what? If that is a man's fantasy, never mind. We're not going to keep talking. So.
Oh my God. That's so funny that I've said that so many times.
But she created everything. And literally, there are ways where she did it by. She did, because, again, by accident.
Right. That's why I'm, like, imagining, like, this forgive me, Cailleach, but this ditzy 50-foot woman, you know what I mean?
I'm picturing the OG pothead. Like, she rolled up a bush, literally. She grabbed a bush, rolled that bitch up in a tree trunk, smoked it, and then left her well running and flooded the earth.
Somebody make this into like a music video,
yeah,
like or a movie.
Yeah,
like
it's funny.
I mean, it's great.
Like she does, she smokes, or she doesn't necessarily smoke, but she leaves her well running.
Right,
and she kills everybody.
And she wakes up and she's like, "Oh my God, what did I do?"
She's so sad. She turns to stone. In one version, not in every version, because in other versions, I'm sure it's just like the Great Flood, like some people survived and whatever. Mm-hmm. Did you read a version where some people survived?
I did not. No, I did not. But then again, I actually didn't read about that. You told me about.
Oh, okay.
The one I did read about the connection with.
I did not read a version where people survived.
I wonder how they came back then. I wonder because
I think like she turned to stone, right? So like. She must have become the earth and gone through her cycle and done the whole thing and recreated life. That's my thought, but that goes back to actually how fucking the universe works. Eventually, all this shit's gonna pop out of existence, guys. Mm-hmm. It's gonna cleanse itself, and it's gonna pop back into existence.
I think my favorite...
So I like the idea that like that's how that
that's
worked.
How evolution name became.
Yeah, the Cailleach. She came first. She came before everything. She just set the foundations.
I think my favorite story about the flood, even though that's not what we're talking about, is probably the Hellenic story, which is it got flooded and then like Gaia helped her son and his wife, who was what's her name.
Bride or Bridget.
That's like in the Hellenic?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, we went to Hellenic.
No, I'm sorry. I was just telling, this is my favorite flood story. I was just...
Oh, my bad.
I was like, basically, people became a thing because they started... There was 2 people that survived and they had to throw rocks over. And as they threw rocks, more people were created. So, that's not mentioned in this one. I don't know how the fuck they were created again.
Well, but she turns into a rock. So maybe, they come from her body.
You say that, and I'm like, okay, there's lots of stories of people coming from rocks or dust.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
Huh.
Yeah, for sure.
Say evolution's not a thing. Not to get into that topic, but I'm like, huh.
Sacred Mushroom on the Cross, guys. Read it. Like, in that book, it talks about there's multiple different creation stories. And, one of the Slavic creation stories, which I've read in other books as well, but it's Rod throws hunks of clay down to the earth. It's his sperm, and it makes people.
See, it's so similar to the throwing the rocks.
Well, but again, it's that water and earth coming together, right? So Rod is throwing his sperm down from the heavens.
Rod Cocker. Sorry, I mean, if you've watched Orange is the New Black, you catch that reference.
Yeah, my kids don't want me to. That is the most ironic. My kids don't want me to watch Orange is the New Black. Not, I don't want my kids to. That felt awkward. But anyway, you're right. Because it's the water going into the earth and the seed growing from that, which is kind of how crops work.
Right.
And I mean, evolution, makes sense because we did you know what? Plants, they're just like us.
Right.
It's an episode.
Check out that episode.
Tarot. Yeah.
So Amber and I both had read that Cailleach is also possibly, there was no confirmation from what I read, but or maybe there was, I don't remember, connected to the goddess Bridget.
Right.
Some people think they're the same.
I think it depends on the Gaelic region or the Celtic region that you're in, if that is a thing or not. Because, just all the different tales change regionally. Just only in Scotland is she a deer herder, but which nowhere else. I know. I love
because aren't the Fae deer herders?
They are, and the Banshee is a deer herder. I know. It's all full circle, guys. We didn't even do it on purpose.
We just did a Baba Yaga episode last week, right? This is gonna be released.
This is the same week, so the last episode. Will be last
episode, okay. Isn't she a herder of animals too, or am I totally
She
wrong?
Controls animals, and she is a herder of horses. That is, we forgot to mention.
I'm noticing that like so many. It's
equine. Is it deer are equine too, right? Because horses are equine.
I know horses are. I don't know about deer.
Yeah, I don't either. I know. I'm asking. If you guys know, let us know in the comments. Right, but apparently we. But yeah, no, I noticed that too because I was seeing that connection through multiple.
I think maybe that's why.
And Hecate, horses and cows, right?
Right. Well, I think that's why deer are so magical to me. No lie, they are the guardians of the forest.
Well, and also if you think about it, like all of these deities that we've been talking about, they are a this time of year deity.
Right.
What do you see a lot of this time of year? Deer.
It's hunting season.
It is hunting season, and there's a reason for that because deer are so prolific right now. Deer are all over the place. They are more likely to be out and about right now than in the high summertime.
I fucking love deer. I can't lie.
I do too. Like every time I tell somebody that I need to watch for deer, they fucking show up. It just happened the other day. I told Maddie about it. It happened twice when we were in the car together. Like deer, they have a certain, I have noticed, and I don't know if this is magically related or not, but I have noticed there's a certain way the sky looks when you're going to see deer.
Huh. Like, yeah, you had said something like that.
It's the lighting. Like, it's the lighting. Like, literally. Like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it's a sensing thing. Or maybe
you were connecting with these other world.
Maybe.
More. Maybe. And I would say like, more other world because they're...
The deer do seem to be connected to these other world deities.
Right, exactly. Or just the other world in general. To me, I'm going to sound like a total fucking nerd. The deer, stags specifically, they're just fae in our realm. 100%. That's what I think anyway.
I could see that.
They're gorgeous.
I mean,
they're good to eat, don't get me wrong, but like, they're gorgeous too.
I had a deer. Okay, so my nephews are living with me right now. The first time they ever lived with me, I was taking them and their mom back to Indiana. And we were on the fucking highway out in the middle of Indiana or Illinois or one of those states. And like, I'm talking to her. The boys are in the backseat sleeping because at this time, the younger one is maybe 18 months old. So the older one's maybe 2.5. And I look over and I see this fucking ghost face outside the goddamn window of my car because there's a herd of deer running across the highway and they are directly coming at us and I'm just like, oh my God. And I like sped up and they went behind and I kept going. I almost shit my pants. Like, let me tell you. Like you say otherworldly, I get it because I thought it was a fucking ghost. Maybe I thought it was something attacking my car. Maybe it was a goddess. Maybe it was the Cailleach. Maybe it was a banshee. Right. It was fucking terrifying. I about shat myself. You know what, guys? I rarely tell this story. I don't think.
Wait, how late was it?
It was like 11 o'clock at night. Okay. Like, about shat myself. Oh my. Cause what? At first I was just terrified. Then when I realized there was a herd of deer coming across the highway, then I was terrified in a different way. But yeah, I see otherworldly. I get you when you say that. I get the fae energy around the deer. I do. I really do. And like, deer have like kangaroo faces. Have you ever noticed that? Is it just me, guys? I don't know. I totally...
To me, kangaroos look like mouse people.
I get that. But also, next time you see a deer, like kind of look at the face. They very much have kangaroo face. Huh. I don't know, like that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, I don't know,
but so in some versions and some stories in some regions, she is connected to the goddess Bridget, and it's almost like from one side of the year. What is it like, Beltane area?
Well, I mean, essentially, it would be that Bera, who she's another name for the Cailleach. She's the goddess of winter.
Yes.
Bera, she controls the well of youth, and basically on Imolc, or the first day of where the first beginnings of spring,
right? She
drinks from her well of youth.
I bet that water
to
is
become
delicious.
young again.
I mean, I'm being serious too. I'm imagining
like crisp and clean and fresh right out of, I guess, her, because she was the original, so she made everything, right, including the water she's drinking. I don't know how that works, but she drinks the water so that she can become young again, and she goes to sleep and wakes up as Bridget. And walks the earth as the spring and summer goddess,
right?
With
slowly
aging as she walks the lands and observes her lands, checks on her deer, because even because it did mention deer in other areas, just not her as a deer herder, but a connection with deer with her, no matter what, which very much made me think of the banshee, because it was also Celtic and also associated as a deer herder. So very interesting. I wonder if the Cailleach makes a similar noise to the banshee.
I wonder.
I was thinking
I was thinking the singing, because I showed you that video of that lady singing and it brought the deer. Yeah,
exactly. Because Celtic Bridget, she's the one that Bridget has the it was one of our first episodes. I've got it right here. Bridget has the thing. It's called... What's it called? Wow, I took way different kinds of notes back then.
I know, I'm looking at your thing. I'm like, totally different.
Damn it, what was the name of the thing that... It's keening.
Yeah.
Bridget is the goddess of keening, and if the Cailleach is associated with Bridget as being the other side of Bridget, and Bridget is has the keening thing, and Bera is the deer herder, makes sense that she would keen and sing to, and it also makes more sense as to why Bridget is the keener, because keening is associated with that whole otherworldly afterlife song stuff with the banshee, and so that makes the Cailleach. Oh my god, I really love the cyclical piece of Bridget and the Cailleach, or Bera, being the same entity throughout the year. I really dig on that. Also, it has a fountain of youth involved.
I know, I was going to say throwback to our fountain of youth.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Maybe the fountain of youth is in Scotland or Ireland. Maybe it's not in the Florida Keys at all.
No, I still believe that, the core of it is coming out of that crystal, that amethyst at the center of the earth, and there's tubes shooting off with, the most pure blue water.
With multiple.
I do.
And really only those who are worthy.
Only those who are worthy. So, if you're not a good person, you will never find the fountain of youth, so don't
Or
suck,
if you
guys.
plan on wanting to fucking sell it, probably not.
Again, yeah. Don't be shitty. Yeah.
I want to say I would love to find the fountain of youth, but I don't think that's the case. I think it would be,
Tuck everlasting.
Yeah.
But the fountain of youth thing brings into, because it happens at the same time as the Groundhog Day connection.
Right. Now, this is my favorite Cailleach story. So, basically, I'm going to try to explain it. I know what the fuck I'm saying. Hopefully, I'm getting it out right. You gotta help me. So, basically, it's cold. Okay, it's February 1st. It's fucking winter, right? So, people believe that if February 1st is fair, and it's warm, and it's it looks like the budding of spring, that means it's going to be winter for a very long time, because the goddess Cailleach has made it a very nice day so that she can go collect firewood, because no one wants to do that in the cold. It's fucking miserable. And prepare for a longer night. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, if the weather's fair and she can gather more firewood, she's going to make winter longer, because she's had time to prep and make more storms for you to fucking deal with.
Yes.
But if it's gloomy out and the groundhog can't see his shadow, then winter's going to end pretty soon.
Right, because she slept in,
yeah,
so she's not prepared for a long winter.
Exactly.
And I have heard that story before many a times, but I didn't realize it was Cailleach. I knew it was Earth Goddess. I didn't know it was her.
Guys, when I tell you I love how full circle our fucking episodes get, I love how full circle the episodes themselves get. Not just what we're talking about in an episode, but all of the episodes.
Like the Fountain
we
of
didn't
Youth.
know about, yes, exactly.
Right.
We didn't know anything about the Cailleach when we decided we're doing her for one of our Dark Goddess Winter episodes. Baba Yaga, I knew very little about before starting this research, and Maddie, I think
I didn't. I knew even less, honestly. Like, I apologize if the last video
Hecate,
I didn't talk
I
much.
knew about nothing about until my research. Maddie obviously knew a shit ton more, but like it's seeing how all of this shit,
the
like
Banshee
the Banshee
and the Cailleach,
and yeah, exactly, the Banshee and the Cailleach,
and Bridget,
Bridget coming.
We're creating our own religion. It all makes sense. It all goes together.
It does. It all goes together, guys. I've been saying this since the beginning. And
right.
It's all connected
to each other.
It is. And but what you guys have to understand is we didn't do it on purpose. We put all this content together for you, and it all goes together, and we just did it intuitively.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Sorry.
No, we did. It's real.
Like, you have to understand. Like, we really did. Let's see. My favorite thing. Okay, my favorite thing about Bera / the Cailleach. And I heard her called Bera so much.
Which do you prefer?
Bera keeps coming out of my mouth now that we've mentioned the Bridget. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, we'll see which one comes out, you know? I like the way Cailleach is spelled.
Uh-huh.
But Bera is easier to say, and my mouth likes saying it, just like Tuatha De Danann.
Sean, shout out.
Yes, thank you, Sean. And Dashbolga, I love saying Dashbolga. He has a Z in his name, like Nadezhda. If you don't understand these references, last episode and Midsummer for Dashbolga. But anyway, so the Cailleach or Bera, so there is this great big ass whirlpool outside of like Scotland, and
it's real.
It's real. Yeah, the whirlpool itself is real.
Sure. I'm curious on what it looks like.
Yeah, see what the name is. Yeah, and if you want to pull up the name, because there's like a name of it apparently. But she'll go out there and she'll wash her shawl, because she wears a dark shawl all year long, and she'll go out to this whirlpool because like she's a giant, and her shawl is gigantic. She goes to the whirlpool and she starts washing it. It's called
Gulf of Corryvreckan?
Corryvreckan? Yeah, it sounds about right to me. Corryvreckan. The Gulf or
shit.
Gulf?
That's Gulf.
Gulf. Okay, Gulf of...
How unusual. What a strange occurrence. I wonder what people thought. Oh, well.
The Cailleach.
I know, I guess this is what
she was doing her laundry, guys. She took her shawl
off. I love that,
and she washed it in the whirlpool. And there would be a lot of winter storms that would build up for about 3 days. And after that, she would take her shawl out and she would wring it out. And then it would be nice and white and clean. And she'd lay it across Scotland to dry out. And that would be the first winter snow of the year. I do too. I love that. Also, it's women's work.
Oh, it's a permanent whirlpool. Sorry. Yes. I wanted to see if it came and went. No, it's...
Oh, yeah. Like, as far as I understood, although I wasn't sure until you just confirmed it, it was that the whirlpool is always there, and that it's involved with the washing because the storms also will come in from that same area. Oh. You know what I mean? That's what I understood. If I'm wrong and you know, like, let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter at Classiest Witches. I mean, feel free to let us know. We have no objections to being corrected. Just don't be rude about it, because, like, look, there's a lot to pantheons we're not familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
And we do our very best in, like, researching as much as we can so we can bring you as cohesive and comprehensive and intelligent sounding content as possible. That's what I'm trying to say. But I was looking for a better word than intelligent, but it wasn't coming. I was looking for a C word if you didn't understand the whole like comprehensive.
Oh.
That's not the word. I give up. Intelligent.
So are you feeling a connection to Cailleach at all? Because I can't lie. I'm feeling her right now. Honestly. Maybe it's because it's her time of year.
Right? Like, well, and I felt a very big connection with her and all these other goddesses. And I don't know if it is strictly the time of year or if it is my connection with death or if it's a combination of these things. I won't lie, like, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all, but because you are a follower of a Hecate, I am not at all surprised that you are like feeling the Cailleach because I'm feeling like a lot of Hecate kind of energy from
really
the Cailleach.
I could see that. Yeah.
And I am not feeling like, you know, when we did our Hecate episode and I was just like, this bitch has been calling to me for a decade and I've ignored her and I feel bad and blah blah blah. Like, I don't have that same kind of feeling with the Cailleach. However, I have been intrigued by this individual for years and years because there's, I think Primitive Witchery is the name of the Facebook page. We're friends, and she makes a lot of things. She's the one that her stuff was in Hocus Pocus too, as like whatever. Okay, so I have these little jar things. They're like little nightlight jars that she made, and I got them for all of my daughters one year for Christmas. And I almost got, or I did get, the Cailleach one.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I learned about the Cailleach. I'd never heard of the Cailleach before, but I was like, what is this thing that she's made this lamp out of? Because like, or not out of, but like, you know, there's a figure of the Cailleach in it. Because like, one of them I got was like a Clydesdale looking horse, and it was really cool.
Nice.
And one was a fairy, and I can't remember if I got the Cailleach or if I got something else. I can't remember. I just know that that's the first time I ever saw this word.
Guys,
and like,
I'm halfway through my notebook. I'm so sorry I have to mention that. Like, this is literally halfway through my notebook. That's how many episodes we have done.
Yeah, and like, I won't lie, because my notebook, I've got all this stuff in the back too. So it's like, yeah, we have, also, my notebook met a lot of coffee yesterday.
We're going to have to get new ones. Real merch ones.
We have to get new ones.
Which, by the way, like, if you're interested in Just Talking Tarot merch, you can totally check out our Patreon.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some awesome stickers.
Plus, you'll be supporting a kick-ass fucking podcast, right?
Hell yeah. Abso-fucking-lutely. Because, like, we
just got Christmas decor, like, guys.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we did. We just decorated for Christmas for you.
I don't know if you can see, or holidays, we should say.
Yeah, Yule, our Yule decorations. They're stags and stars. Actually, that's kind of cute. Stags and stars. Oh my god, how cute are we?
I love it. I fucking love it.
Oh my god, dude. We're adorable. Like, we don't even do this shit on purpose, y'all. So yeah, like,
but I do feel a connection with the Cailleach. Not something that I would go out of my way and create an author or altar like a huge calling. Yeah. But I am intrigued by her beauty. Yes. And I would call it beauty because she's gorgeous.
She is. I do love her. Granted, the things you say, she's gorgeous, right? And everything that I heard when people like describe the way they imagine the Cailleach is she's got like thinned blue skin. She's a really old lady, right, thin white hair. I didn't like that imagery. Like, I definitely dig the white hair and the blue skin. I just don't like how she's all like, meh. Well, now, obviously, you guys are starting, I'm sure I'm showing my own bias here. I don't like it when something is purposefully portrayed as gross looking, even when they're kind of icky on the inside. Like, I feel like that's just out of meanness. Well, because I picture Marsana with blue skin and black hair. So I love the Cailleach with blue skin and white hair, but I picture her as more robust, like an earth goddess. Right. Even if she is withered because she's at the end of her year and she needs to do her renewal.
Well, let me just clarify, when I say she's gorgeous, I mean her energy, not necessarily just her. Yes, fair enough. Makes sense to me that she has blue skin because, again, previous episodes Didn't we discuss how certain Gaelic tribes had blue skin?
Yes,
because of the was it paint or was it dye?
Yeah, it's paint, and I can't remember the woad. It's called woad, and we talk about it in the Green Children.
Is it green?
No,
or blue?
it's blue.
It is.
It's
blue.
Yeah, the Green Children of. I can't fucking remember.
That was one of our first couple episodes.
It was like number 8 or some shit.
Right.
So we talk about the woad in that episode, and that was one of the thought processes on why the Green Children might be green. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go back to season 1 and listen. But yeah, like, I do feel a calling to her. I feel much more connected to her with all of this research. And again, it just keeps blowing my mind how similar all of these different subjects are that we're bringing together. And like, I feel like I get a deeper understanding and a deeper appreciation of the other subjects we've covered as I learn about these new ones.
Well, and
does that make sense?
Absolutely, and I think what I like so much about this podcast, and I hope you guys like it too, is that the more research we do on the more topics that we do, not only are we able to educate everybody listening to the podcast, because I'm sure you guys learn a bunch of shit just like we do, we're teaching ourselves, and we're coming into our own beliefs about these different things that maybe we would not have thought about or had the time to put into otherwise.
No, for sure. No, 100%. That's one of my favorite things about this too, because like I'm opening my own eyes. All 3 of them.
Right, exactly. But you gotta be careful, because like sometimes it's a
spiritual psychosis.
No,
but
it's
no,
like
I'm beyond
super
that.
common apparently. It's scary.
Is it super common, or do they want you to think it is?
Stop it, Amber! Don't
keep you separated from the connection, so that we cannot. You know what? I won't keep talking because I'm going to get myself on a list of some sort.
Not only are you going to put you and I in a spiritual psychosis, but whoever is listening that may or may not be showing symptoms is like, they just told me.
No, I'm more from a conspiracy theory standpoint. Actually, because I truly believe that the church removed our connection to nature and all this other stuff to calcify our pineal gland, to keep us disconnected. They fed us a book of lies to live our lives by, so that we will just fucking live and work for the man. Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. See, I know. It was actually more government conspiracy than spiritual shit.
Which, by the way, we are next year, in our next year's episode, we're going to be talking about the government.
Am I crazy?
We're going to be talking about some government conspiracies, including the dark side of the moon, or if we even went to the moon. So if you haven't already...
Don't be angry with that one, and if you can't handle the conversation, maybe sit that one out.
Right. So if you're looking forward to that, a good way to get notified when we release that is to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Or can you subscribe to our podcast?
Yeah, you can. I don't know how on the different platforms, but you can on all of them. I only know how to subscribe to a podcast on Good Pods.
Well, on our
Wait, that's not true. I know how on Spotify as well. Both make it very easy. I don't have Apple products, so I only get on there on my phone.
And we're like 10 away from our goal on Anchor. And
I'm By the time you guys listen to this, we'll be over 2K listens.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's crazy.
We're going to hit 2K before 1 year. Yay. Thanks everybody who's listening, because you helped us. You helped that happen, and you don't understand. It means the world to us.
It really does. We put so much time and effort into this, and to know that somebody's actually listening and we're not screaming into the void.
Right. Well, awesome. And even if we were screaming into the void, that'd be whatever. But, like... You're listening that much, and you're not telling us that we're dumb.
Right.
So, like, we're at least putting a little bit in, you know what I'm saying?
Speaking of supporters that don't say that we're dumb, hey, Melissa.
Thank you.
Hey, Melissa, I love you so much.
Your support means the world to us. We appreciate you. Did we pitch all the social? They'll be in the link. Like, links will be in the things. You know how the things works. If you don't know how it works yet, I don't know what rock you've lived under for the past decade. Right? Like, it's a fair statement, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know what to do, guys.
Thanks for sitting with us for a spell.